going on, everyone? It's Tachi coming at you with another episode of Living Your Best Life. And as always, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me some of your time this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whenever and wherever you're watching from as you watch this episode. Of course, what we do in our show is we invite a professional on to talk about what they do and how what they do is contributing to a better society, a healthier society, and even, yes, a wealthier society. So we cover it all right? We cover it all. We do it all here. So today, everybody, I have an awesome lady that's coming on to talk about what she does and how what she is doing is contributing to a better society. Dr. Tomi Bryan is going to be on the show and our guest this afternoon. If you've ever heard of a life coach, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have, awesome profession, awesome career, doing some great things. Her career caught me a little bit off because I've never heard of a purpose coach. And I was like, wow, I've got to have her on my show to talk about what she's doing and what a purpose coach is, because that's something that I think kind of escapes most of us. We don't know what our purpose is in life. And so she's going to come on and talk about how she can find out what your purpose is in kind of like, just a few minutes of a conversation with you. So really excited to have her on, really excited for you guys to get to know her through this platform here. And so I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, before we get to that, just want to speak about our next promotion, our next thing that we're doing, which is the TLS 30-Day Jumpstart Challenge, everybody. Get on it. Our clients and people are having some awesome results. One of the young ladies, just a week, just maybe 3 weeks in now, almost a month, almost 30 days, and she's down 17 pounds. All right, so let's get in on it. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're making some great strides, and more so than that, they're learning some basic things about how to stay healthy for life, because it's all about empowerment. Alrighty, so be sure you check us out, the 30-Day Jumpstart by TLS. All right, so just click on the link below somewhere or up top somewhere, wherever the link is going to be. I don't know, but anyway, everybody, I'll catch you on the other side of this quick commercial. Okay, the TLS challenge. Alrighty, so I'll see you on the other side. Y'all be good. Bye-bye.
The TLS 30-Day Jumpstart Kit is designed to start your weight loss journey the right way. We know you want fast results without compromising flavor or satiety, and that's why this Jumpstart is just the place to begin. The 2 phases of this program will get you looking and feeling great in no time. First, we provide the essential foundation with rapid delivery and maximum absorption to promote long-term health and optimal nutrition. Phase 1 is a cleanse, a fresh start that not only gently cleanses your digestive tract, but helps curb your cravings and prepares you for the second phase. Phase 2 is the fat-burning phase. You'll modify your food plan and add in exercise and our incredible TLS nutrition shakes. This is where you'll see fat and inch loss. This comprehensive kit and program booklet has what you need to reach your health and weight management goals. Jump in today.
So welcome back, everybody. And I want to say once again, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. Like it's like commercial. Please do take us up on that offer, okay? We really want to channel in and really get to our health in 2023. So like I said, please do take us up on the offer that was in the commercial. So everyone to the right or the left of me, however you're seeing this screen right now, is an awesome lady that I had the honor of meeting online for the most part. This is how we do things nowadays, online through LinkedIn. And she is in my hometown. That's why I really had to reach out to her and connect with her. And when we talk, we just had such the coolest click. Mm-hmm. That's what us young people like to say, clicks. I think young people, they may not say that anymore, but as young as I like to think I am. But like I said, we really clicked really well. And she's an author, and I was just so just in awe of her journey and what she's doing with regards to service and helping people. It's appearing on my screen here, but this technology. And but anyway, she's doing such an awesome job of helping people, and she's going to bring some new terms to this podcast that you probably haven't heard before. And I'm just going to kind of like preface it right quick with one, which is a purpose coach, which I think is really interesting. We always hear about life coaches, and this is an awesome career if you choose that path. but I never heard of a purpose coach. And that is really something that I really want to kind of like talk a little bit about today. But also the other one is emotional intelligence. Everyone, like I said, she's an author and I have her book here. Okay, emotional intelligence. Let me get it right here and make sure we can all see this. I'll put it up there. So anyway, emotional intelligence, I have highlighted certain parts of it because it is really, really deep. And I just want to say, welcome to the show, everyone, Dr. Tomi Bryan. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Oh, thank you for the invitation. It's lovely to be here with you.
Yes. So like I said, Doc, you, and you know, I know that you said, don't call, I have to give you that respect because you have earned it.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
You have really.
I appreciate that. And I'm a casual person. So, Tommy or Doc works, whatever works for you works for me.
All right. So I always like the term Doc. So we'll go with Doc. But thank you so much, Tommy, for hanging out with us this afternoon. And, I think when we first met, when I first, we connected with each other, you introduced your book to me. And so the title struck me, right offhand. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna show her my support, hometown woman, and I want to make sure that I support her. And I went right out and I purchased the book, and I'm so glad I did. So thank you once again for hanging out with us and just being able to share with our audience here, my audience. So what I want to set up right quick in terms of our interview and our podcast is, I want my audience to know a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit more about who Dr. Tomi Bryan is.
Well, I love a good joke.
Good.
I think laughter is the best medicine. So I try to do it as much as possible. And, Todd, like you said, I think it's beautiful that we are both in Greensboro. That's such a wonderful connection for us. And for me, I moved here in 1989 after graduating law school. And I practiced law here in Greensboro and discovered that wasn't the way I wanted to be of service to humanity. And that sent me looking for my purpose. Right. Because the practice of law just didn't really feel like that. And so I spent a lot of years, what I call it 20 years in the desert, right? Searching for purpose, trying to figure out who am I, why am I here, and what impact will I have? Those three existential questions that can drive us crazy if we allow them to. And so I've been very fortunate to have had the space to go on this grand adventure for about 20 years, just digesting information about self-help, business, leadership, human endeavors, trying to discover the best within so I can offer that to the world. And Todd, part of what happened to me is I got so frustrated because I felt like, where's the book that says, this is the map to purpose. Take 4 steps forward, 2 to the left, 1 to the right, and there it is. And it just didn't exist. And I thought, why is it, for me, life shouldn't be spent finding your purpose. It should be spent using it, which is why I created a path for quickly discovering someone's purpose. My record is 90 minutes in helping someone find their purpose. Right. I'm all about efficiency and effectiveness. And I had a client, we were sitting in a coffee shop and I said, all right, let's do this. And within 90 minutes, we hadn't fully wordsmithed that purpose, but we both agreed that we had the essence of it in the words, and she just needed to wordsmith it a little more. And, for me, the power of purpose is there's a place only you can fill in the world. There's something only you can do in the world. That's where your purpose is. And when we are able to step in that beautiful space of doing what we came here to do, just the magic is crazy that happens in that space. Yeah.
That is, I was having this conversation with a couple of my clients because I was telling them about you. And, this purpose thing is something I don't think we overlook, but I don't think we really take it that serious. Is it as humans, do we all have a purpose?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
For me, I have this, I don't think like the rest of the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so for me, I sort of see the world in maps and
Hmm.
systems when I look out at the world. And I do believe there's this grand design. So
Hmm.
Todd,
Hmm.
so Todd, eons ago, you said, I'm going to show up as Todd Cheek, and I'm going to be
Yeah,
born on this day, and my work is going to be discovering what I'm great at.
right,
And as part of that grand design, you're one of the threads in the fabric of humanity, right? And each thread is unique. Yours might be red, mine might be green, but that thread serves some powerful purpose. And if we don't figure that out, we sort of stop the creation of that grand design
right,
that's unfolding. So for me, everybody has a purpose.
right. And is it hard to find? Like you said, there's a 90-minute thing that you have. But as I journey through life, Doc, I watch people. I'm a people watcher, and I watch people live their lives just always in the struggle
Mhm.
of their whatever their journey is. And I respect everyone's journey
Yeah.
because everything has a purpose,
Mhm.
um, and a bigger purpose and a larger purpose. But like I was saying a couple of minutes ago, it's sometimes we take for granted that as the struggle is the only thing there is, and we don't live beyond that. We don't strive to move beyond that, and I'm challenged with that with most people.
Well, the struggle is real,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, you've had a crazy struggle.
And that was the caterpillar turning into the butterfly,
There you go. There you go.
right? Humans are not going to change unless the universe makes us uncomfortable. And
Hmm.
I certainly have been uncomfortable, Todd.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But the thing about, circling back to this concept of purpose, what happens in purpose is we think it's something outside of us. So we're
Hmm.
busy looking out, right? I'm
Hmm.
going to find my purpose over here, or I'm going to find it over here. And purpose is actually an inside job. And
Hmm.
it's actually a journey inward. And it sits at the intersection of so that there's a circle with your 5 top values in it. There's a circle with your 5 top strengths in it. And in that almond, and there's a mathematical scientific term for that almond where the circles overlap,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I'm not a mathematician, can't remember
No
it, right?
worry. Yeah, don't worry about it. I get
Right,
you.
right. But that almond is where those values and strengths come together.
Hmm.
And that's the social currency. The social currency is the 3 things that you go out in the world and trade upon based on your values and your strengths. Like for me, one of my social currencies that brings my values and strengths together is I bring wit, wisdom, and humor to every interaction.
Hmm.
Right, that
Hmm.
we're going to
Hmm.
laugh. We're going to have
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
time. It's going to be a
yeah,
good adventure. We're going to learn a lot, and if not, I'm not going to do it.
yeah, yeah.
And so you are, and a second social currency is simplify the complex. I can take lots of data, right? That's the systems builder, the map builder in me,
Mhm.
right? Takes all that data and goes, well, this is the path out, people. And inside of those 3 social currencies is a little circle, and that's your purpose. And
Mm.
so it's a funneling down into the deepest and truest parts of who you are. So it's a downward looking in, not a looking out.
Mm. Always the inward approach, as we hear about all of these concepts that are, relatively Eastern
Yes.
methods of growth. Um, and I think in the Western culture, we spend more time on the outer
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
terms of trying to find ourselves. So we identify our success by things that we accumulate,
Mhm.
over our lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times material types of it, there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that. Once again, that's your journey. I understand it. But I do also, um, the when you understand a little bit more deep or a little bit deeper of who you are, and we'll get to happily ever after in a couple minutes. That's when you find out that I feel is your sense of peace, your sense of joy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
nothing can really take that away once you find that, you know.
Yeah, and and you're talking about the 10 steps to happily ever after that's
Right,
available on
right.
TomiLlama.com.
Please do take time to get to that website.
Thanks, Todd. That one of the things that we talk about on that site is bliss
Mhm.
versus happiness, right?
Mm, mm.
And happiness is a sort of a head satisfaction, right?
Right.
A head happiness. But bliss is when the soul is happy.
Mm.
Man, I want some bliss, baby.
Yeah, give me the
Right?
bliss.
I want some bliss. I want to vibrate joy and happiness from head to toe. And
Uh-huh.
so, yeah, so there's right. So part of the 10 steps to happily ever after is how do we move toward this unprecedented happiness that leads to joy and bliss when and I don't know about you, Todd, my parents didn't know how to tell me how to discover
Oh,
happiness,
oh no,
right?
no.
I'm not judging them. They
Mhm.
had their, I always say because of them, me,
Yeah,
right? If
yeah,
they weren't
yeah.
if they weren't who they were, I wouldn't have gone off on this journey of trying to discover happiness and purpose and peace and all these beautiful things.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's I want us all to discover our bliss.
That is so powerful. I love that differentiation there. You speak of, and like I said, I when I first went to your website, everyone, please do, like I said, go by her website. She offers so much free information and great resources just at a website alone. And please go by there and subscribe and get your first step
Yes.
to the 10 steps. But one of the really cool things is the 5 values or the 5 guides, the guides, being value, make a life plan, healthy relationships, setting your boundaries, and overcoming limited beliefs. Can we break down some of those things, Doc? Like I said, the values, make a life plan, which is, I think, is so important.
I love that life plan. And
Mhm.
it's so one of the things that I used to get so angry about, my kids would laugh at me. They'd be like, oh, it would be like the sound of a book hitting a wall, right? Me
Mhm.
and my children would go, well, that book must not have had a tool or a map that she needed, right? But
Right,
they
right.
have these really big ideas, but they don't tell you how to execute on them. And
Mhm.
I read the one thing by I think it's Gary Keller, who's the principal or the owner of Keller Williams
Mhm,
Realty.
mhm, mhm,
And
mhm,
the one thing is this beautiful, amazing book about how do I focus my power to achieve the life I want.
mhm.
And it's a wonderful book, but there was no worksheet. And so,
Gotcha.
right, I took the one thing and created the life plan worksheet. So we know his system works, but can we codify it or make steps that are easy for people to follow? And that's what the life plan is. And
Mhm,
it's so profound how that works. In 2019, at the beginning of the year, I wrote my one thing for the year. And I do a personal thing and a professional
mhm,
thing. And
mhm,
my professional thing is I wanted to be a global transformation leader.
mhm, mhm,
And I
mhm.
thought, I have no idea what that looks like or how that's going to
Yeah.
happen. Well, in July, I sold a consulting business and I was just hanging out and I was bored.
Mhm.
So I called up my friend who was the vice president of talent at Contour Brands here in Greensboro. They own the Lee and the Wrangler blue jeans.
Okay.
And I said, hey, can I just come be your summer intern? I don't have anything to do. And she goes, yeah, come on. So, I'm doing this project for her. And she goes, hey, we have a position coming open, Director of Global Talent Development.
Wow. Wow.
What? She goes, yeah, we
Yeah.
think you'd be great at it. And so there I am, in August, accepting this job as Global Talent Director for this, $3 billion a year company.
Yeah.
And I thought back to my one thing of, oh, here's the global transformation leader showing up in a way I never anticipated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love the life plan. It really allows you to take that big dream that may seem overwhelming and divide it up into bite-sized pieces so that you keep marching toward what your best life looks like.
Right. And so tell me a little bit talk to us about healthy relationships, because I think that is important. As I have, we've all, you're in your early 30s, but for us older people,
I just heard the angels sing your name, Todd.
Yeah, for us older people, we've had just a wealth of relationships, some good, some bad, but they're all very purposeful, and I keep using that word. I don't mind that at all very purposeful in our lives and in our growth. So how do you determine healthy relationship or a healthy relationship?
Yeah. So there's two things that come up for me as you're talking about that. Number one, you say that things are purposeful, right? And as a systems thinker, which means I like to see the whole system, there are some rules of the universe that people may not pay attention to. Everybody's probably familiar with the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is underneath that is the law of resonance. Right. You can't attract something if you don't resonate with it. Right? And so people are focused on the law of attraction. Well, as I'm collecting these different principles of the universe, I see the law of economy, something I've never seen before. I'm like, how did I not understand this? And what the law of economy says is that in the universe, there's no wasted movement. So Todd, when you say everything is purposeful, that is the reflection of the law of economy, that nothing you ever do, you may not see it today, but everything you do circles back and has a purpose. And, Todd, I love that you're saying in my 30s, but I'm not there anymore. I'm almost 60, right?
Amazing.
And so some of those things that happened in my 30s that, you go, what? I can now see the grander purpose for those in my life. And so the law of economy teaches us there is no wasted movement. So even if you feel lost, you're not, right? You may not understand where you are, but you're never lost because you just aren't. And whatever you're doing is going to serve some purpose. You just can't see it right now. Right.
Wow.
And so as for the healthy relationships, I joke that two things. One, my husband and I have been married for 32 or 33 years. I'll get that number right before the anniversary, right?
Yeah, I remember, yeah. I struggle with that one too at times.
Yeah, well, it gets to a point where it doesn't matter anymore. You're still together, right?
Yeah,
and so, right. So I say we've been married some years more than others. Right. And I tell people when my coaching clients are struggling in their own marriage, I'm like, oh, listen, we've been married three different times, even though it's only been once, according to the law, right? Is that because we grow apart and we come back together and we grow. And every time we come back together, it's a much more enjoyable and fulfilling relationship. And one of the things that drives me nuts in the world is this line from the Jerry, oh gosh, what's that movie where the guy's the sport, Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire, yeah.
When he says, "You complete me."
Right.
No,
Yeah. It's romantic.
it's
It's
romantic.
good to say. It's yeah. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, Todd, you're right. Right. He won her heart over.
There we go.
Right. But you don't complete me and I don't complete you. We have to
Yeah.
complete ourselves and come together, right, in the
Yeah.
space. And I think that's the phase my husband and I are in, is I honor his individuality. He honors mine. We go out in the world and do these things, but then we have these places where we come together that are so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
For us, our children are both, we have two boys who are both married.
Mm-hmm.
So I say I have 4 children. So my
Mm-hmm.
4 children are coming to visit for Christmas. And my husband and I are all excited because we love spending time together with them. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
great time. Now, we love watching Hallmark movies at Saturday night at 8:00. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we enjoy the simplicity of the love story. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's a litigator, and you know, I've got my own complex things going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to come together at 8:00 on Monday nights, and we're going to watch The Neighborhood, and we're going to laugh. Right.
Right.
But he likes to play tennis, and I do not. So he goes and plays tennis. I
Yeah.
prefer to go to the gym and get in the pool, so I go do that. But I don't tell him or feel jealous that he's playing tennis.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't feel jealous that I'm spending time at the gym or, you know, having lunch with folks. And so it's really about, the healthy relationship is about allowing individuality
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
coming together in the shared places.
The rhythms of life. You know.
Yes. And the challenge, Todd, I mean, Jerry Maguire says it, you complete me. That's because I don't know how to complete myself.
Mm. Oh wow.
Right.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
that understanding of the individuality, which happens through the values and the strengths and the social currency and the purpose,
Mm-hmm.
allows me to understand who I am in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need you to, and that's what I tell my husband, I don't need you to complete me. I need you to be on this grand adventure with me and we have great times together.
Yeah. You know, I had a conversation with someone the other day, and we were talking about relationships, and um, like the Jerry Maguire movie, "You Complete Me" is romantic, and it sounds good. He won her heart, you know, like you said, with that line. Um, and you're absolutely right when you say it's the individual. We have to feel complete within ourselves. And we have to allow people to explore and be themselves in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, one of the things that I do, and I thought about this years ago when I was asked in a relationship about trust. And my response or reply was, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent, was I trust you to be who you are. I trust you to be human. And
That's
and
so beautiful.
yeah, and with that, you're free to be, do, and have whatever you choose. It's either going to be conducive to the relationship or it's not.
Yeah. Yes.
But I'm gonna offer you that freedom.
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't go too well.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, you know, because it wasn't romantic. It wasn't what was, you know, the expectation of I trust you with all of my heart. And so that was the expectation. But my thing was I trust you to be human. And with that, you're free.
But you know, Todd, the grace and the power that you gave through those words
Mm-hmm.
is remarkable. A lot of
Right.
people struggle to be able to do that. And part of that, Todd, comes from the fact that we don't understand love and power. And that's
Mm-hmm.
now we're leaning over, and you know, while strengths and values and purpose are all part of emotional intelligence, we're now leaning into what is the root of low emotional intelligence. And that
Mm-hmm.
comes from the fact that we don't understand love and we don't understand power. what happens is we have imbalanced social engagement dynamics of control and adoration and anger and silence and sex and money that we think are how we love someone. No, that's how we control and manipulate someone.
Right.
Right. So since we don't understand what true love and true power are, we come into a relationship. I raised my hand. This is what I did. I came into the relationship with my imbalanced understanding of love and power and did some really dumb things in my marriage. Fortunately, my husband did some really dumb things and we're able to forgive each other, and it's okay.
Yeah. So and you brought that up, and that made me think about that because my whole thing is I don't, in a relationship and romantic relationship or friendship, my thing is to allow you to be who you are, your authentic self, as much as we can be. And it's not to hold you to anything of my expectations. I try to not live by that and hold you to any of my expectations. So, like I said, with that, I can be free and you can be free, and create the boundaries of your awareness and your growth and your consciousness.
Yeah. So when is your TED Talk coming out?
I haven't thought about that. But so as we're talking about emotional intelligence, of course your book is awesome.
Well, thank
everyone,
you for that.
Please do check out her book. What inspired you to write the book, first and foremost?
So that's so many things floating through my head in this moment. So I have written, I think, 5 other books.
Okay.
And what I didn't understand until I got to the other side of those books is that each book was me writing about how I'd moved from one emotional state to the next one. Right. Those were my public display of me transforming. And in November of 2019, I was having a conversation with my son, Shep, and he's a very creative guy. And I said, what are we doing here? What has been the purpose of reading, 2,000 books? What is the point of going back to school and getting a PhD in leadership? What's the point of these global experiences, right? I went to Germany and attended a family systems workshop. I went to California and walked by the light of the moon across a fire. Even became a certified fire walker, right? Fire walk instructor, right? So what am I doing? And when I got silent, what I heard from the universe is emotional intelligence, Tomi. And so when I actually went back and looked at the books I'd written through the lens of emotional intelligence and emotional well-being, again, I see in maps, right? This whole map emerged of what was underneath traditional emotional intelligence and what actually gives rise to emotional well-being. And that is emotional balance. And that's actually what the book is about, right? That journey to emotional balance, regardless of where you are in the system of emotional balance. And I felt and it was the first time sometimes I have these experiences, Todd, I don't know if you have them, when I finally see something and in my head, I see all the little gears of the universe restacking themselves and spinning in different ways, right? And it's like, oh, that's what the 20 years in the desert was about. A new model of emotional intelligence. Isn't this beautiful? And then I set off to write the book, Emotional Intelligence 3.0.
Wow. Like I said, a very, very well thought out book. And, me, I'm one of those people, Doc, I will be honest with you. I'll have to read a paragraph about 3 times. you know, in order
Yes.
to actually let it inside myself and actually,
Mhm.
to really feel where it's coming from.
So Todd, I had lunch with a colleague the other day who just finished reading the book, and he sits down, he goes, this reads like a textbook. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, well, that's really good, because that's what I was trying to do, is create a textbook of a model that you
Yeah.
could teach at the university level, that you could, so yes, it's chock-a-block full with all sorts of different golden nuggets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
fortunately, I had a friend say to me, you need to create takeaways at the end of the chapter so people don't get lost in all the stuff you have in each chapter. And I thought that was a beautiful gift to me, because that's what I did. I have Tommy's takeaways at the end of each chapter.
Yes, exactly. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. So I urge everyone to definitely go to a website for one, TomiLlama.com, and check out the book, Emotional Intelligence. Awesome work that you're doing. So, if you don't mind, what are some, I would say, contributing factors to low EQ or low emotional intelligence?
Yeah. So, Todd, it's actually, for me, it's very simple.
Yeah.
There are foundational emotional
Mhm.
experiences that we have as children.
Gotcha.
And we are not old enough, and we don't have the skill sets, and we don't have the tools to process the marginalization that happens to us as children.
Right.
And marginalization, because we don't have any skills, it can be simply as a mother, mother telling a little child no in a very
Mhm.
aggressive voice, right? And the child's not heard that before,
Mhm.
right? So the child makes a note, don't do that, upsets mother, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But as we continue to grow, those foundational emotional experiences get hidden from view,
Mhm.
and we don't even realize we've hidden them from view, yet they keep playing out over and over and over.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they
Mhm.
play out about two things: I'm not lovable, and I'm
Mhm.
not powerful.
Wow.
And all of us have some version of I'm not lovable and I'm not powerful, unless you're in the 1% of the population who's either in silence and oneness, which is
Mhm.
enlightenment, or
Mhm.
wholeness.
Mhm.
That 1% has worked out has finally solved those emotional foundational experiences that keep limiting us, right? I I'm sorry for the language, but I
No.
equate it to same shit, different day, right?
Right.
Every day you
Right.
get up thinking, oh, today's going to be different. This
Right.
is going to, and it turns out just like yesterday.
Wow.
And that's
Wow.
because those foundational emotional experiences are hidden from view, yet running the show.
Running the show from the background.
Yes.
So, it's just that onion that I always speak
Yeah.
about,
Mhm.
and how do we get to the, song, there's a lyric in one of Prince's songs, getting to the center of the fire, getting to the
Mhm.
center of something. And how do you get there? And this information, honestly, should be taught. I
Yeah.
don't know where this information is taught, if it's on some collegiate level,
Mhm.
but like you said, when the impressionable years, as we are kids and children, those impressionable years, and you pile all this stuff on, over the years, the deeper, it's the deeper we go into
Yes.
the down that spiral. This should be taught on some level.
I think so too. And Todd, there's a couple of things. First of all, no one gets out of childhood unscathed,
Right,
right?
right, right.
Nobody's better than anybody else. No
Mhm.
emotional state is better than any other one. It's just we all have these experiences, and we can either let them control us, or we can resolve them and be who we came here to be. We
Right.
cannot be who we came here to be until we integrate and process these patterns from our childhood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I said, I really, at some point in time, and maybe this is something you can work on, trying to get this in some type of curriculum
Yeah.
somewhere, where we can, begin to understand who we are. Because, when we see things happen in the world that are serving a lesser part of ourselves, um, I think you and we probably understand probably a little bit more where that comes from.
Yeah.
There's something,
Yeah.
most people are trying to, like you said, lovable and power, and trying to get to that.
Yeah.
And, it's coming out in all types of negative ways.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And the, so you're right. It's like peeling an onion. And so you've said this a couple of times, Todd, and I just want to reflect back to you. Chapter 4 in the book talks about the universal principles that were used to create
Mhm.
the system of emotional intelligence. And one of those is systems dynamics. And one of its principles is belonging. And you have clearly said you allow people to belong as they are.
Mhm. Mhm.
What happens as children, it wasn't safe to be who we came here to be because our parents hung all these things on us about who they thought we should be, and we weren't strong enough to defend ourselves against it.
Good Lord.
Right. And so, and listen, I used to tell my kids, I'm not saving for your college education, guys. I'm saving for your counseling to undo all the horrible things I've done to you. Right. Because what I want for my children is wholeness, but I know we don't get out of childhood. I cannot fill every cup my child has. No parent can. They just can't. Right.
Yeah.
And so I had to accept that I was going to hurt them in some way. And hopefully my work through emotional intelligence would be a pathway for them to unravel that for themselves instead of allowing those experiences to limit who they are.
Right. Awesome. So, Doc, what's in the future for you and your company and your business? And, once again, go share us with how we can find you out here in the world.
Sure. You can get to everything. So Emotional Intelligence 3.0 is delivered to the individual, to coaches and well-being professionals, and to organizations.
Mhm.
And you can go to raiseyourei.com. Very simple website to remember, raiseyourei.com. And from there, you can find the first free step on Tomi Llama that allows you to find your top 5 values, because that's the gatekeeper. You got to know your values to make it inward, right?
Yeah.
If you don't go through the gate of values, you're not going to find yourself all the way into purpose without it.
Right.
You can also take the free emotional state indicator there, which is the assessment that goes along with Emotional Intelligence 3.0. And it'll send you a report that tells you what emotional state you're in and the gift of that state. And there's also a link there to buy the book if you're interested in the book. So raiseyourei.com is a great place to start.
Great. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was so, I'm a student of yours. I'm gonna let you know that right now.
Well,
and this was kind of like a free session for me, but also everyone that's listening. So,
so Todd, I'm not going to let you off the hook so easy. Are you in a place where you can tell us what your purpose is?
If I could give a overall type of simplified answer to that, it would be to service humanity in a way of presenting that they have options in life. Because that, my wife always, she knows it by heart now. She always talks about options. And I always want people to understand that they have options when it comes to their health and when it comes to their wealth and in their lives in general. But, as I watch people like my parents fall prey to pharmaceutical companies, these things are by choice to some degree.
Yeah.
And I want people to know that they have options to not fall prey, that they can take control of their health. And so that's where I am. and
So
and I
I
want,
just I just want to share with you, I
yeah,
feel the beauty of that.
okay.
Um, yeah, I'm getting misty-eyed over here, and I
Oh,
just want to say thank you for, because power is not about control over others. It's
yeah,
about your right to choose. And many of us don't understand we have the choice.
yeah,
So here
yeah.
you are out in the world teaching people to choose. It's one of the most important things you could do. So
Uh,
thank you for
yes,
doing that to the world, for the world. I appreciate you for that.
yeah, and that's where I am. You know, that's where I am with my understood purpose, you
Awesome.
know, in life. So thank you for that, because I was caught off guard with that one, but I was prepared.
Well, you do know what you're up to in the world. I love it.
But once again, Doc, thank you so much for hanging out with us, okay, this afternoon. I look forward to hanging out with you since we are in Greensboro.
I'm looking forward to a lunch date in January.
Oh, yes, yes, let's definitely do that. And
Perfect.
I would love to have you back on to share even more of
Oh,
your knowledge and your expertise, because like I said, you
thank
know,
you.
I am just in awe of your journey,
Oh,
you know,
thank you.
the good, bad, and the ugly,
Yes,
you know,
right,
of it
right.
all, in which you
Yes.
are so vulnerable at sharing. And I appreciate that so much.
Well, thank you for that. You know what? When we can reach deep into our own stories, we give others permission to do the same.
Oh man, you're exactly right. You're
Yeah.
exactly right. So everyone, I please take this information and get in contact with Dr. Bryan. As you can see, and as you have heard, she is on a mission to help and
Yeah.
serve and change, you know, one life at a time,
Yeah.
and all, and one, you know, reach one, teach one, as they say.
Yeah.
So once again, Doc, thank you so much, and everyone. Once again, thank you for being a part of the show of Living Your Best Life. And so we're going to be doing this at the top of the year again. Okay, we're coming up on Christmas next week. And so more than likely, we'll definitely catch you, not this rest of the year, but coming up in 2023. It's going to be an awesome year. And I look forward to hanging out with everyone again. So everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with Todd and also Dr. Tomi Bryan this afternoon on Living Your Best Life. You guys have a wonderful rest of the year, 2022. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in 2023. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye.